The Phantom Stranger #3, written by Dan DiDio, art by Brent Anderson. Last issue, the Phantom Stranger got called in to protect Terrence 13, a ghost hunter, from the haunted highwayman who has beef with his family. And now Phantom Stranger is on the end of a noose. So this issue picks up with a flashback to Phantom Stranger back when he was Judas, hanging himself out of grief and guilt. And he was saying, like, I kind of wish that my act of contrition here would get me into heaven, but turns out it didn't work then and it's not going to work now. So we see him still on the end of the noose, and Terrence 13's like, Haunted Highwayman, please. He has nothing to do with this. Don't hurt him. And Highwayman's like, no, I'm going to kill him, so that way his death's on your hands, much as mine was on your great-grandfather's hands. But he notices that it's taking a really long time for Phantom Stranger to choke out. So he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to speed this along with my hands, if that's cool. And he goes to touch Phantom Stranger, and there's like a magical blast thing that it breaks the rope and sends Haunted Highwayman scrambling. And he's like, all right, well, Dawn's coming anyway. I can't do Dawn, but I'll be back tomorrow night. And I'll kill you then, Terrence. Peace. And so he leaves. And Phantom Stranger's like, okay, I'm a little bit woozy. I don't think I'm okay. And he passes out for a second, and in doing so, he sees a dog, tiny little, like, terrier. And the terrier comes up to him in a Scottish accent. I'm not going to do the Scottish accent. He says, laddie, best you resolve this. 'Tis not the reason you're on earth. There be greater evils to deal with. And then he wakes up, and Terrence 13 is like, hey, man, you good? And he's like, no, I'm not good. Explain to me the story of the Haunted Highwayman. And if you were reading All-Star Western like 6 months ago, this was a backup, but basically he recounts exactly what happened in the backup, that the Terrence 13 family back in the 1800s, it was more about showing the ghosts didn't exist. He was disproving all the supernatural stuff. And back in those days, there was a guy named, I think it was Rood. Yeah, Jonathan Rood, who he was a professor, wanted to make some extra money. I think he got fired, and he took up being this haunted highwayman to scare people out of their money. And Terrence 13 disproved it. It was a very public trial. Rood's wife ended up dying just out of like shame. And so he cursed Terrence 13, saying, your family will always be cursed by me, the haunted highwayman. And so now it is an actual ghost that comes and haunts them down. So Terrence 13, he apparently fought the ghost once more. He survived. Numerous other members of the family tree didn't survive as well. But now it comes down to this Terrence, and he's hoping he's not going to be in the same clump. And at that point, Phantom Stranger's like, so this is a family issue, and I don't have a part in it? And Terrence is like, please, don't just, come on. You got to help me a little bit here. He's like, actually, no, I don't. I'm going to go. Peace. Wait, real quick, by the way, do you have a dog? No? Okay. Never mind. Bye. So the next night, in his persona of Philip, he goes with his wife to a neighbor's party. The neighbor has a major job at work, and he's going to be gone for 6 months to, I believe, the Philippines. And they're here to say goodbye. So they make their way inside, and everyone's like, oh, hey, Elena, Phil's wife. It's so nice to see you. So great you're here. And Phil, you actually came to a party. That's weird. But at that point, Elena starts socializing, and the husband who's leaving is just like, Phil, hey, great to see you here. I just want to have a talk. Real quick, are you a religious man? And he's like, why do you ask? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to Thailand to build these condos, and I don't know if this is really like my purpose, if like this is the track I'm supposed to be on. And he's like, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And he's like, I mean, I it's my job. I have to do it. It's something. It's like, okay, then do it. And he's like, but I don't know if I want to do it. And he's like, okay, I don't know what to do with you here, buddy. And he's like, look, I'm going to go do this. It's what I need to do, even if it's not something I want to do. I'm going to be spending 6 months away from my family. I'm trusting you to be the family for them, to step in, be a father figure while I'm gone. And it's just like, yeah, sure, of course. He's like, thanks, man. You really are a pal. Anyway, I'm going to go socialize. Peace. And so he steps out, and Phil is just kind of like, man, all right, I guess I'm doing that. And then another neighbor shows up and says like, hey, I got a call on my phone from a blocked number asking for you. And Stranger picks up the phone. And he's like, hello. And of course, it's Terrence 13 again. And so Stranger shows up. He's like, I told you not to call me again. He's like, no, you said not to call your house. I called your neighbor's phone. Totally okay. Anyway, Haunted Highwayman is here. And as he's like, dude, you know I could kill you, right? And he's like, yeah, but Haunted Highwayman will kill me. So I'm going to take the could over the will. So anyway, Haunted Highwayman shows up and he goes after Terrence. And Stranger puts up a magic shield of like, oh, well, this will keep us safe for a moment, but we need to figure out what to do. And he's like, all right, I think I got an idea. And as the Haunted Highwayman's like, hey, this is a blood feud. This is a family curse. You got to let me in. And he's like, yeah, no, I know it's family. So how about you fight the person you're actually upset with? And he summons the ghost of the original Terrence 13, the one from the 1800s. And he's like, Jonathan Rude, you bastard. I killed you once. I'll kill you again. And he's like, oh, crap, the original. And so the original Terrence just gets him in a headlock and says, like, you've committed countless crimes against my family. I'm taking you with me. And so they both, like, disapparate back into heaven or whatever. But before they do, the new Terrence 13 is like, this is incredible. It's an ectoplasmic event, transdimensional. There are ghosts fighting in my office. And the original Terrence 13 is like, Sonny, I thought that our family would have taught you there's no such thing as ghosts. Peace. And so he goes off to heaven or hell or whatever. And just like, wow, all right, well, that was something. But the old Terrence 13 makes the point that Phantom Stranger did a good deed for the family, so now the family owes him. So the new Terrence 13 is like, so I guess that makes us partners now. And Phantom Stranger just turns, looks at him, causes a magic blast that literally blows out all of the tech in his office, and says, no, we are not partners. Do not ever contact me again. And then just vanishes away. And we're left with Terrence just going like, that was awesome. That was I think that was a good little 2-part story. I don't have any issues with that. It was a nice little thing. It gets us more introduced into a little bit more of Stranger's home life, like the way that he's building up his family, the way he feels about them, and how it's not really an act. He genuinely does care about them. I'm all for it. I think that it adds a little bit of depth to a character that I personally don't really know much about at all. Power-wise, I'm still a little bit hazy. It seems that he can just do holy spells. Like, he's a cleric. That's the best way to put it. Not really sure what all that entails, but clearly he's very powerful. So I'm at least interested in the character from a characterization standpoint more than a power standpoint, at least right now. Overall, I'd say this one's a 7.5. I can't really say exactly why. It just kind of feels 7.5 to me. Definitely very rewarding to have read both the original All-Star Western backup and then this as well. It's just a nice little bit of synergy across different titles here. So yeah, 7.5.